better just sometimes to just go ahead and run by them. And if you want to, you can fall here, grab a quick boost of health before continuing on. I'm going to go ahead and switch off of the Rush Jet right now and continue on through the stage. Now here's more of those giant mechs to take care of. Usually, if I can't take them out real quick, I'll just take the damage and just run through them. It's not worth standing there and taking multiple hits. Now here we see the disappearing and reappearing blocks for the first time. They're just as an annoyance, of course, as in all of the other previous Mega Man games, and we do have a couple to deal with. However, I will bypass them here by using my Rush Jet to kind of sneak past and kind of trick it and get through it as fast as I possibly can. The quicker I'm out of the disappearing blocks, the better. After that last set of blocks, we now have our first of Protoman's Castle's bosses. Throughout the Protoman Castle, the bosses that we're going to be taking care of are kind of a collection of these other little robots that aren't robot masters, that kind of stand on their own, maybe Protoman's army. And they're all different and unique. This one ends up being rather easy to deal with. He's just very slow and annoying to deal with. He follows you wherever you are. If you're on the left side of the screen, he's going to start charging you there. If you're on the right, he starts charging you. He really doesn't have a pattern of his own, and he keeps shooting out little one single blast at a time, which aren't too bad to dodge. However, if you end up getting run into him, if you jump into him, or get hit, you end up taking a good amount of damage, is what makes him difficult. His pattern is not hard to dodge, but his amount of damage is a little skewed to be rather a difficult boss. Once he's taken care of, we warp out and we move on to Protoman stage number 2. Now in this stage, we're going to have to deal with some conveyor belts that are going to be moving around when we're trying to jump from each one, which can be rather difficult to deal with. Other than that, this ends up being one of the easier of Protoman stages to deal with. We're going to have to go ahead and use our rush coil here in order to make this jump up. And watch out for the robots, or just take the quick hit and continue on. I think one of the interesting things about the game, and the fact that the Beat robot is in here, is that he actually wasn't created by Dr. Light. He was actually created by Dr. Kozak from Mega Man 4, who you saved, who Dr. Wily had kind of taken over him and forced him to work for him, and was the original main villain of Mega Man 4, until you find out that Dr. Wily was really behind the whole thing to begin with, in which case by saving him, he joins up with you, helps you out, powers up your Mega Buster, as well as gives you that new pet bird, or the new robot bird, Beat. So as we continue on, if you need to grab some item boost, you can go ahead and climb up there and grab that item boost. We have a couple of these slide areas to deal with. Went ahead and grabbed that energy tank real quick, but you had to be careful so I didn't accidentally maybe run into the spike, so I took my time and went backwards real fast and then went through on one of the upper layers of it. Going through these enemies, taking a lot of damage, because unfortunately they're a little bit of a pain to hit because they do move rather quickly, especially when there's multiple ones on screen at once, and you're getting 6 bullets shot at you instead of just 3. If you need some health, you can go ahead and grab that health on the right side there, and continue through, as we have another one of the tigers from the Maypom Man stage. And we have the moving robots that we've seen in some of the previous games and saw earlier as well, which they can be a little bit of annoyance, but overall pretty easy to dodge. And then we enter into the lair of the robot boss for this stage. His health bar fills up, and here we go. Now he's rather difficult to deal with, just because of his shields that move around him. As you can see, they rotate around his body, and you can't shoot the shields. If you accidentally shoot the shields, your shot just reflects off of it, and doesn't do any damage. Now he's rather easy to dodge when he's just moving left and right, however he can throw his shields out at you to do damage as well, so that can be a little bit of a pain. However, after only a few good shots, he's done, and we move on to Protoman stage number 3. Now as we continue on, this is stage number 3 of Protoman. We have a castle-type theme going on in the background, and we're also going to have a weird moving platform in this stage. It's very similar if you played Super Mario World for the SNES. There's brown moving platforms that kind of move around like snakes in different patterns that you have to follow around. We actually have one of those in this level. Now in this room we have to deal with some of those rotating platforms that we saw first in Stone Man stage. Jump on them as they go over, be careful not to stay on too long or you end up in the spike wall. Another series of them, pretty easy to deal with. When you make it to that top one, quickly jump off of it so that you can grab a hold of the ladder. Moving on, watch out for the nets, shoot them when they open up, and then continue on like normal. At this point in the game, they really aren't trying to challenge you too much with these parts. It's really just taking your time and not trying to make a jump too early so that you end up getting hit by an enemy and get dropped into one of the holes. Now when we reach here, we're going to have to pull out the rush coil in order to make the jump here. Go ahead and use them, jump on, and move up to the ladder. Now out here is when we're going to have to deal with that snake-style moving platform. As you can see, there it goes, and we'll have to follow it as it travels around. If you want to, you can get the extra energy tank or the extra life if you want to. It moves around the spikes, so you gotta be careful when jumping over them so you don't accidentally touch them. I'm going to switch off of my rush coil and move back to the Mega Buster. Some quick platforms to move around as the snake-style platform moves. Wait for it to come back up at this point, and then I'll start traveling and jump on it one last time. Wait for it to go through and travel down the ladder. I'm going to want the big robots to slide underneath of them if you can, just to quickly bypass them instead of actually having to deal with them. Here we have another one of the big robots, but once you get past them, you can quickly drop down, grab a hold of the energy tank, and then go up, and now we're going to have to deal with another one of those snaking-style platforms to deal with. Very similar to the one we dealt with before, except we have these robots that when they see you, they drop down and they grow spikes, or spikes pop out of the bottom, and then they drop straight down at you. Overall, though, this area is easier to deal with than the first snake area, and now we move on to our next robot boss. Now this one, in my opinion, is pretty much the easiest, or one of the easier ones to deal with. He shoots out either a 3 spread shot while on the ground, or he jumps straight up in the air and shoots at multiple shots. However, you can usually get him in a loop when he's on the ground by standing close to him, to get him just to keep shooting those 3 O-shaped shots. Once in a while he will hit you. If he does, you freeze for a second, but then you'll drop out of it if he hits you, and then you can get him with another shot. Now we move on to the 4th and final of the Protoman stages. Here I guess we'll find out the truth behind all of things on why Protoman did exactly what he did. Now as you can see in this stage, it's actually pretty cool. You have to shoot out these rocks in order to make the platform slowly fall down. You want to make sure that you don't shoot a rock when you're standing directly underneath one of the spikes, so you'll end up getting hit by it and lose a life. Now as we get to this long line, you gotta shoot them out quickly. And what you want to do is you gotta make sure that you don't shoot them all out, so that you'll be able to slide underneath at least one of them, so that you can continue on. Go ahead and take out those so that everything falls down. Take out the last couple ones, so that it's perfectly even with me and I can just slide underneath of it and head into the Robot Master's lair. So we finally meet face to face with Protoman. We charge towards him. He's going to go ahead and he's going to fire a shot at us and takes our health immediately out. But wait, what's that? Both Mega Man and Protoman look confused as another Protoman shows up and takes out the other one, revealing that it was actually a robot in disguise as Protoman. Protoman leaves the area, and now we have to deal with the Robot Master, the robot boss that was disguised as Protoman. Now he's very similar to the one we dealt with in Stage 2, however he shoots his shields out at us, as well as fires out the projectile. Definitely a little bit more challenging to deal with, however if you can get the timing down of being able to jump over his shields while also shooting at him, you can get a lot of shots in on him easily. Sometimes he'll shoot out multiple projectile shots like he is right now, allowing me for ample time to be able to not only jump over him, but get in a few shots as well. When you drain his health, take him out, and we'll be getting ready to move on to our next stage.